Hello students, welcome to history class. Myself, Mrs. Swati Hazare from Gokhale Education Society's HL High School English Medium, Ozhar, Nasik. Today we are going to learn History of Standard 9th from Maharashtra State Board English Medium Syllabus. Chapter number 9, Changing Life. So far we have studied the period from the year 1961 to 2000. The speed of change in the 20th and the 21st centuries has been tremendous. Human life is changing rapidly. The human life is changing rapidly in the 21st century. Religion played an important part in person's identity during ancient and medieval periods. A change in our traditional mindset was brought about by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar through India's constitution. Human life is changing rapidly, and things which we could not have even imagined earlier are now a part of reality. In ancient and medieval periods, religion was an important part of a person's identity. Now modernization has posed some challenges before all religions. Be it Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, Jainism, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, or Judaism, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar brought about a sea change in our traditional mindset. He brought it about through the medium of the Indian Constitution. India won freedom mainly through a sustained, a non-violent struggle involving the sacrifice of thousands of people. India became a free country on 15th August 1947. India has adopted a democratic socialist path for its development and progress. It adopted a new constitution which was implemented on 26 January 1950. The constitution guarantees fundamental rights to the citizens of India, ensuring equality, freedom and justice. Besides the fundamental rights, the constitution also outlines directives for state policy with a view to give a desired direction to social and economic change in India. Fundamental rights. The Constitution prohibits discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, gender, and place of birth. It treats all people equal before law. The citizens have been given freedom to speech and expression, peaceful assembly, to form association, freedom to practice any occupation, freedom to move and settle down in any part of India except Jammu and Kashmir. See, according to our constitution, all Indians are equal before the law and they cannot be discriminated against on the basis of religion, race, caste, gender or place of birth. All citizens have the right to freedom of speech and expression, freedom to assemble peacefully without arms, freedom to form associations, freedom to move, to live and settle down anywhere in Indian territory and to practice any occupation. Indian citizens living anywhere in India enjoy the right to nurture their language, script and culture. The changes. The provisions of the Constitution have shaken the foundation of the caste system and made the practice of family occupations absolute. Right to express views enables people to express opinion against government and register their protest in the newspapers and the other media. These provisions in the Constitution shook the foundations of the caste system. It helped to make the practice of vocations running in the family absolute. Change became the trend in every field of life. Thus began a series of minor and major changes in the society. Now anyone can go into a restaurant irrespective of his religion, caste, race or gender. In fact, we see boards outside the restaurants welcoming all. Another very significant change during the post-independence period is the right to express opinions against the government. Earlier, there were limits on expressing any opinion against political rulers. Now, Indian citizens can register their protest against the policies of the government through newspapers, speeches, or other media. The Institute of Family. The institution of family was an important feature of Indian society. India was known all over the world for joint families. The wave of globalization has replaced traditional joint family system by nuclear family system. Means during the pre-independence period, the institution of the family was an important identifying feature of Indian society. India was known all over the world as the country of joint families. However, the wave of globalization has now given an impetus to the system of nuclear families. The objective to establish a welfare state has been incorporated in the Constitution. Ministry of Social Welfare was established on 14th June 1964 to implement various welfare programs. A similar arrangement has been made in the states as well. Social welfare. The objective to establish the welfare state has been incorporated in the Constitution itself. India is the first country in the world to do so. The social welfare programs aim to make opportunities for full-time employment, health care, education and development available to all Indian citizens. Indian society is riddled with large-scale economic, social, educational and cultural inequalities. However, it is necessary that opportunities for development reach women, children, the differently abled, the scheduled caste and tribes as well as other minorities. This was the greatest challenge facing the government during the post-independence period. That is why on 14th June 1964, the Government of India constituted the Ministry of Social Welfare. Under this ministry, various programs are implemented for nutrition and child development, social security and social protection, women's welfare and development. A similar arrangement exists at the state level too. Scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. According to the 1971 census, 22% people in India belonged to scheduled caste and tribes. Laws were enacted so that they got educational scholarships and representation in parliament as well, state assemblies. Some seats are also reserved for them in government services. Public health. The Constitution states the duty of the government of raise the standard of living of people, provide nutritious food and improve public health. The sixth five-year plan stated the objective to make available primary health services and medical care to people in the rural areas, the tribal and the poor. The Constitution of India states that the primary duty of the government is to raise the people's standard of living, to ensure proper nutrition, and to improve public health. The Ministry of Health and Social Welfare at the center helps the state governments in this regard to make primary health services as well as medical care available to rural people. the tribals and the poor was an objective of the sixth five-year plan. Efforts were made towards helping people maintain good health by giving recognition to Unani, homeopathy, Ayurveda, and naturopathy in addition to allopathy. Come to the next point, important events in medical field. See here, we can see the picture of N. Gopinath. Nagarur Gopinath was an Indian surgeon and one of the pioneers of cardiothoracic surgery in India. He is credited with the first successful performance of open heart surgery in India, which he performed in 1962. He served as the honorary surgeon to two presidents of India and was a recipient of the fourth highest Indian Civilian Award of Padma Shri in 1974 and Dr. B.C. Roy Award, the highest Indian medical award in 1978 from the Government of India. Progress in the medical field has made the life of Indians relatively free of health concerns. In 1962, the first successful open heart surgery was performed under the leadership of Dr. N. Gopinath at Christian Medical College Hospital at Vellore in Tamil Nadu. Hence, it is no longer necessary to go abroad for such treatment. Similarly, the invention of the Jaipur foot has transformed the lives of the disabled in India. Before 1968, if a person lost a leg in an accident, he had to suffer for the rest of his life. In order to remedy the situation, Dr. Pramod Sethi designed and manufactured artificial limbs, noses, and ears with the help of the skilled craftsman Ramchandra Sharma. The artificial body parts manufactured with the help of the Jaipur foot technology have made it easy for the differently abled to walk barefoot on rough surfaces, run, go cycling, work in the fields, climb trees, and even climb mountains, etc. They save on the expenses on shoes as there is no need for footwear on these artificial limbs. They can bend their legs at the knees and sit cross-legged. These feet are also convenient while working in water or wet conditions. Here we can see the Pramod Karan Sethi was an Indian orthopedic surgeon. With Ramchandra Sharma, he co-invented the Jaipur foot, an expensive and flexible artificial limb, in 1969. He was awarded the Magsaysay Award for Community Leadership in 1981 and the Padma Shri by the Government of India in 1981. A successful kidney transplantation surgery was performed by Dr. Johnny and Dr. Mohan Rao in 1971 at the Christian Medical College Hospital, Vellore. Since this surgery can now be performed in India, doctors succeeded in saving patients' lives. Such surgeries were not so common in India till 1971. But in 1971, it was successfully performed at the Christian Medical College Hospital at Vellore in Tamil Nadu. Dr. Johnny and Dr. Mohan Rao transplanted the kidney donated by a living person into the patient's body. Nowadays, patients from un- underdeveloped countries come to India for such surgeries. Test tube baby. Right from early times, having a baby is considered to be of utmost importance in the Indian family system. The support of test tube baby technology has been available to childless couples since 1978. It was under the supervision of Dr. Subhash Mukhopadhyaya that the experiment of the test tube baby was successfully carried out at Kolkata. This was the first successful attempt at artificial conception. A girl named Durga was born. This technology helped to solve the problem of childless couples who wanted children. See the picture of Subhash Mukhopadhyay. Subhash Mukhopadhyay was an Indian scientist, physician from Hazaribagh, Bihar and Orissa province, British India, now in Jharkhand, India, who created the world's second and India's first child using in vitro fertilization. Kanupriya Agarwal Durga, who was born in 1978. Immunization. Before 1978, every year 6 Indian infants out of every 10 who were born faced fatal health problems in the very first year of their birth. The immunization program was taken up to overcome the threat of polio, measles, tetanus, TB, diphtheria and whooping cough. The pulse polio immunization program started in 1995 has controlled polio. Next, urbanization. Urbanization is the process of migration of population from the villages to cities due to non-availability of employment in the rural areas. Balanced economic development of the rural and urban areas, creation of job opportunities and available of basic services will arrest migration. Urbanization is a process of the concentration of population in a city or urban area. Increasing population is one major reason for urbanization. A few other factors affecting urbanization are air, water, and the economic as well as social organizations necessary for community life. In the context of post-independence India, the increase in urban population is also due to factors such as reduction in the mortality rate, industrialization, unavailability of means of livelihood in rural areas, job opportunities in cities, and the resulting migration. To reduce the strain on cities, it is necessary to make jobs available in villages, achieve a balance in economic development, control the expansion of metros, and provide necessary services and facilities in both the urban as well as rural areas. Next point, rural area. A dense cluster of houses surrounded by farmland is a unique feature of the Indian village. A settlement smaller than a village is called a hamlet. There are regional and physical differences villages. To achieve the goal of rural development, community development program was launched during the first 5-year plan. Emphasis was on development of agriculture, irrigation, village industries, education, reforms, health and transport in the rural areas. The responsibility and authority of development was entrusted to Panchayat institution in 1962 by the government. A village is a permanent settlement of farmers near the land they themselves tilled, either individually or collectively. Villages came into existence when farming began. Villages in India are thinly populated. A dense cluster of houses surrounded by farmland is a unique feature of the Indian village. A settlement smaller than village is called hamlet. Compared to the urban community, the village community is very small. Villages are not uniform across India. There are differences based on regional and physical features. Keeping in mind the goal of rural development, the collective development scheme has came into force. Plans were made for improving farming technology, increasing the area of irrigated land, extending educational facilities, enacting the laws for land reform under this scheme. It also aimed at increasing agricultural produce as well as expanding the means of transport, health services and scope for education in the rural areas. It was decided to give priority to economic development in villages. The government undertook this work through the medium of Gram Panchayat, which included the people from all castes and tribes. To achieve this, the Gram Panchayats, Panchayat Samiti and Jilla Parishads were empowered with more authority. Earlier, even village was economically self-sufficient. A majority of the villagers were dependent on farming. Farm produce used to be distributed among artisans as payment for their work. Now this situation has changed. Rural areas are engaged in agriculture and occupations ancillary to farming, while urban society is engaged in non-agricultural production and the service sector. Next point, rural development. In 1961, 82% of India's population resided in villages. In 1971, the percentage was 80.01%. So far, the rural area has shouldered the responsibility of providing food grains and other raw material to urban areas, supplying labor to the industrial sectors of the city, and taking care of natural resources. There are three major challenges with reference to rural development, namely bringing about economic development, developing facilities to meet social needs, and finally bringing about a change of attitude in matters concerning society, culture and way of thinking. It is equally necessary to expedite irrigation projects and bring about land reforms. Next point, social needs and facilities. Priority needs to be given to public hygiene and for health care, provision of drinking water, education, electrification and facilities, medical treatment. Several programs have been launched for rural development by the government of Maharashtra. These are establishment of Panchayati Raj in 1962, Nutritious Diet Program 1970 to 71, Rural Water Supply Scheme. It is necessary to give priority to facilities for public hygiene and health care. Even today, the rural population faces problems related to year-round provision of drinking water, toilets, open drainage, narrow roads, inadequate electrification and lack of facilities for medical treatment. There is a lack of good quality educational facilities from primary level to higher education, centers for recreation and libraries. That is why it is necessary to give special attention to rural areas. The collective development scheme had an important place in all the first 4-5-year plans of the government of India. The state of Maharashtra registered remarkable achievements under this scheme. For example, Jilla Parishads were established in 1962. Nutritious diet scheme was launched in 1970 to 71. The state also started rural water supply scheme for sinking wells and providing piped water. By 1971, to 77, small dams had also been built. Next point, rural electrification. Rural electrification is essential for rural development. 3,000 villages were provided electricity in the first 5-year plan. Their number has increased to 1,38,646 in 1973. Rural electrification cooperative societies were established in Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Uttar Pradesh. Electricity is essential for the development of rural areas. Automatic pumps are needed to water the fields. Electricity is needed to preserve perishable food items such as milk, eggs, fruits and vegetables, to run fertilizer projects and for fans and TV and for lights for studying at night. During the first 5-year plan, electricity had been provided to 3,000 villages in India. By 1973, it reached 1,38,646 villages. From 1966, it was decided to supply more electricity for pumps and bore wells. Rural Electrification Corporation was established in 1969. Rural electrification cooperative societies came into being in the states of Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Uttar Pradesh. Industrial development. A village industrial planning committee was formed to encourage rural industrialization. 1,06,000 persons got employment under this scheme by 1972. A village industries planning committee was formed to help the development of industry in rural areas by 1972. Education. Vidyaniketan 14 industrial development. There has been tremendous progress in the fields of education. More than 100 million children receive education at the primary level. The increase in numbers at the secondary stage is also impressive. Education at college and university levels has also increased enormous. Today there are about 300 universities in India. Diversification of education at senior school, college and university levels has also been taken up by the Government of India. Vidyaniketan residential schools were started by Government of Maharashtra at Satara, Aurangabad, Nasik and Chikhaldsara. As per the recommendations of Kothari Commission, agriculture universities were established at Rahuri, Akola, Parbhani and Dapoli in Maharashtra. UNESCO awarded international prize to Maharashtra in 1972 for the spread of literacy. The Government of Maharashtra has also started residential high schools. We have seen here residential schools known as Vidyaniketan. Their purpose is to provide the best quality education to intelligent and meritorious village students living in unfavorable conditions. As per the recommendations of the Kothari Commission, agriculture universities were also started at Rahuri, Akola, Parbhani, Dapoli. And in recognition of the work done in the field of education, UNESCO awarded its international prize for the spread of literacy to Maharashtra in 1972. Besides education is provided at the elementary level. Today, at senior school and university levels, emphasis is being put on vocationalization, computer studies, applied sciences, management, and on some other relevant and gainful fields of knowledge to tackle the problems of unemployment among the educated young men and women. So, in this way, overcoming the obstacles at the beginning of post-independence period, India began to develop and make progress. So, students, this is all about changing life in post-independence period. So, I hope you understood the lesson and thanks for watching.